Welcome back to the UpVote channel. I used to be homeless and addicted to heroin, coke and booze. I just turned 30 and completed my master's in accounting this week. Ask me anything. When I was 18 to 19, I was homeless for a little over a year. I have been addicted to pretty much every drug besides meth. I used to hang around shady people who are mostly dead or in jail now. I have been shot, stabbed and attacked with a baseball bat. I was arrested roughly 20 times in my teens. I have gone through pretty much every medical ailment besides cancer, broken roughly 30 bones, nerve damage in arms, pancreatitis that almost killed me. But for the past 6 years, I have been going to school while barely scraping by. I'm about to get my MS and sit for the CPA in 2019. I'm going into a highly conservative field. I can't talk about my past or experiences I have been through. Most of my friends and family don't know the struggles I have had for the past 12 years. From someone who also had a bit of a shady past when I was a teenager, before ultimately making something of myself, I'd suggest you don't deliberately hide everything. You say you can't talk about it, but I think you'll find people will be impressed rather than think badly of you. Similar to you, I had some very good friends who didn't make it out of their teens or early 20s. Very few people come back from that and achieve what you have. Hold your head high. Edit. Sorry, I know that's not a question. Just wanted to tell you I think what you've done is great. Thanks for the kind words. I definitely hold my head high and know what I went through wasn't easy. I don't let the magnitude or gravity of my situation get lost. I mostly just don't bring it up because my work environment is very professional and I would be judged hard. It does get annoying at times when I hear people complain about trivial things like their life is so hard. At times, I want to just blurt out all of the things I've done and been through so I don't have to hear about people acting like their babysitter canceling was a traumatic event. Rant over. Anyways, I appreciate what you said and hope you continue on making something of yourself. It's not easy clawing your way out of a hole, and I get what you mean. Hey, my wife is a senior partner in EY. If you're looking for a job once you finish your master's, please DM me and we'll see if we can help. That is an incredibly kind gesture, and I appreciate it. I may take you up on that offer. Let me grapple with the idea of an employer knowing all of my deep dark secrets and get back to you. It was my intention to stay anonymous, but I am also on the hunt for a job while I start studying for the CPA. I just finished my master's this week. Out of curiosity, what region of the US are you from? You're awesome for that offer, either way, and your wife must be awesome too for marrying such an awesome person. This may sound weird, but what's your most positive memory from the time you were homeless? Any moments that reaffirmed your faith in humanity? This is such an excellent question. As you can imagine, there were not many happy moments. However, I mentioned in another comment a manager at a Steak and Shake that was extremely helpful. He gave me food and let me sit inside the warmth, talked to me for hours some nights, and let me get to know him on a very personal level. I remember looking forward to seeing him most nights because he was one of the only people who never judged me and listened to me. I hated nights he was off, and I had nobody to converse with. There was also one specific instance when I was stealing food. I usually went to this mall that had a Panera, and at the time, outside the door, they had a display with loaves of bread to show the different types. I thought I was being discreet when I stole a loaf of bread, but an employee noticed and came up to me when I was eating it on a bench. I was terrified of getting in trouble, but she asked if she could make me anything free of charge. I was embarrassed and pretended like I was fine and didn't need anything. She went back and brought me warm soup and a sandwich with a bunch of free fruit and bags of chips in a plastic bag for me to take. I wanted to cry, I was so grateful. Never spoke to her again, but I vividly remember that. Those are what stick out to me the most. There are a lot of kind brothers and gals out there, and it really showed me how to be humble and never judge anybody because everybody is fighting their own battle. How did you get financial aid without being able to show proof of income from IRS for those years you were homeless and an addict? I am assuming that you weren't doing taxes while in that state. I'm going to assume you mean aid through the government? The fact is I didn't get financial aid. I'm not proud of admitting this, but I stole a lot. I would steal food for essentially every meal. Not sure if you know what car hopping is, but I did that almost every night. I would go through neighborhoods in the middle of the night and try to find unlocked cars. You would be absolutely shocked if you realized how many people leave their cars unlocked at night with cash, credit cards, valuables in them. Where I live, it gets very cold in the winter, below zero. When it was too cold to sleep in my car, I probably should have clarified that I lived in my car, so I'm not sure if some people would classify that as homeless or not. I would sit inside Denny's or Steak and Shake because they were 24/7. The manager at Steak and Shake was a really nice guy and always offered to help me. I would do various cleaning overnight, mopping floors, cleaning bathrooms, windows, taking out trash, and cleaning the exterior of the building, other various tasks he needed done, and in return, he would give me free meals or some cash in exchange. It was a great way to stay out of the cold in the winter since I also couldn't afford to keep the engine running that long. What made you decide to get sober and turn your life around? I'm not completely sober. I still drink socially. But the reason I did a lot of harder stuff was because I was depressed. I had a bad relationship with my family, and as cliche as it sounds, I was using drugs as an escape. I realized when I got arrested a few times for minor pot and paraphernalia charges, and almost got thrown in prison, that I needed to change. At the same time, my girlfriend at the time was friends with a lot of shady people that were getting busted by the DA left and right. My life was crumbling all at once and just had a "what the fuck am I doing?" moment. What prevents you from telling all of your friends and family from knowing what you went through? They know some things, but they don't know about my struggles with heroin or me being stabbed. My mother worries about every little thing, and I don't want to burden her with the stress, especially with things so far in my past. These friends I've known since middle school, and when I disappeared and came back, they never really questioned me about it. They kinda just welcomed me back like I hadn't been gone for the past couple years. I think it's a combination of shame and not wanting to be a disappointment to the only people that I know love me. How did you pay for school? Combination of many things. Community college was relatively cheap and financial aid through FAFSA was enough to cover tuition and books. I worked full-time to afford life. Then my undergrad tuition was a lot more expensive. Luckily, my grades got me 7 different scholarships that covered almost everything. There was a period where I wrote probably 100 essays for 100 different scholarship applications. I still had to take out a lot of loans for books and living expenses. My master's program was even more expensive, so I really had to bend over and just take the loans out because I needed a degree in order to sit for the CPA exam. I'm sitting in about $50,000 in debt. I also lived like a typical broke college student for the past 6 years. There were times when I struggled quite a bit and also accepted help from my mother and her new husband. There are a lot of programs to help pay for broke students with good grades. Be sure to write in the comments what you think about it. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel and watch our other videos.